Hello friends, in this video I'll be discussing about thesis. This is the part 2 of the video. I'll be discussing about planning and writing the thesis. Part 1, to watch that you need to go to my YouTube channel, that is dealing with research protocol. I am Dr. Suresh Badadmat, Professor of Psychiatry, working at NIMANS, Bangalore. In this video, I'll be discussing about the thesis, how to do data collection, how to analyze and interpret the data which is available, and after analysis, writing the thesis and practical tips. Once you have submitted your thesis protocol and you got the approval from the ethics committee, only after getting the ethics committee's approval, then only you do data collection. Because if the ethics committee refuses or rejects your protocol, or they may ask you to amend the protocol, in such a scenario, if they come to know you're already started collecting the data without the ethics committee's approval, it will be considered as a offense. Hence, start the study once you get the thesis ethics committee approval. Once you get the approval, start data collection. Before you start the data collection, collaborate with others. Talk to your seniors, talk to other consultants, talk to other institutes, whether you can get the subjects from multiple sources. Put the posters, put advertisements, especially in the hospital if you are doing. Inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria need to be put up and circulated only within the colleagues and also with the other consultants, so that they know what is your research and they may supply or refer the cases for assessment for your thesis. But if you are going to do social media publication, you need to take ethics committee approval. So don't put it on social media. If you are not taken permission, don't do that. If you are taken permission, well and good. Otherwise, avoid putting on social media. Meet your friends, meet the consultants, meet your colleagues, go to the other hospitals, go to other institution, talk to them verbally and say, I'm doing this research, I require subjects. What are the inclusion criteria? What are the exclusion criteria? What is your phone number? Where can you reach, where the subjects can reach you? Further, seek help from other people. Without seeking help, you may not get the subjects. Once you start doing the data collection, enter it into a master sheet. Once you develop the master sheet, when you collected around 2-3 samples or maybe the subjects, go and meet your statistician. Ask them, is it right? This is the way to code. Whether it should be a categorical variable, whether it should be a continuous variable, those kinds of questions, and how to code them. Start doing that. And at the same time, enter the data into the software. It may be SPSS, it may be RTAB, or it may be a simple Excel sheet. When you are doing that, talk to your statistician. That is very important. The statistician will tell you whether you are doing right or wrong, because that data chart is going to determine how the analysis will go, or sometimes he may say to change the analysis or change the data sheet. Hence, talking to the statistician when you start collecting the data and discussing how to enter the data. And when you have done maybe 10 or 15 subjects, do an initial analysis and ask your statistician whether you are in the right direction. That will trigger your inquisitiveness. At the same time, you will be thrilled to see how your research project is going on, whether you are in the right direction, whether your hypothesis is true, maybe wrong, maybe the null hypothesis may be upheld, or the researcher hypothesis is going on. So that will give you a kind of kick that you are doing a research and you are able to answer the research questions. When you are doing the analysis, once you have entered the data, don't manipulate the data. You are a bad researcher if you do that. Never ever do that. So once you entered the data, do analysis. Again, to do analysis, ask your seniors' help, your colleagues' help, meet the statistician, do preliminary analysis, ask him, once you get those chart results, how to interpret the data, how to enter the data in the thesis, what should be the tabular format, what should be the p-value, and how to write that result. Do it and show it to your statistician and your guide, maybe your seniors. And not only putting the table, try to be very, very innovative, creative, putting charts, figures, and flow charts. And your results should be revolving around your primary objectives and secondary objectives. Your result should not be peripheral. Your result should start from your primary objectives, and whatever the questions you have asked in your aims and objectives, those related results should be depicted. Once you have done that, you will do discussion. What is discussion? It is a critical analysis of your result. You will compare your results by comparing with the international study, national study, local studies. And you will say whether your results are in congruence with the international, national, and local. If your results vary, why does it vary? What is the logical reasoning? Whether there is an explanation, whether your sample size were different, whether the analysis was different, whether your instruments what you used is very sensitive. Those need to be depicted and logically argued about your results. That is about discussion. And you need to compare your demographic findings with the other studies also. Reason out your findings. If they differ, if they are same. And at the same time, good researchers will also discuss about the limitation of your study. Whether that your study is generalizable or not. Why it can't be generalized? What should be the future direction so that the next researcher knows that you have done the research till here, and what should be the next researcher doing in your area? That future direction should be given. Summary and conclusions. And again, conclusion should be based upon your results, not on the whims and fancies of yours. Practical tips. These are very important. When you are drafting and reviewing, ask your seniors, ask your colleagues to do the proofreading. And once they have done it, then only you give it to the guide. Ask the guide whether he likes printed or the digital copies. If it is printed, give him the printed copy. And when you are doing the data collection, do those initial pages, maybe declaration, certificates, acknowledgements, tables, figures, abbreviations, contents, and references. Because thesis is written in layers, not in a one go. Hence, when you are doing data collection, do all these things. That is, initial pages, introduction, literature review. That means this is the format of your thesis. That is title, certificate, declaration, acknowledgement, content, tables, figures, and then the introduction, review of literature, aims and objectives, methodology, results, discussion, limitations, future direction, conclusion, and references. Of course, appendix. But however, these are the things which can be done when you are doing data collection. During the data collection, you can finish this and send it to your friends, colleagues to do the review, that is proofreading. And even once they have done it, you can give it to the guide. Once the data collection is done, only the results and discussion will be left behind. Hence, you have to be very smart when you do thesis. Utilize digital technology such as PubMed, learn about Boolean operators, go to YouTube, learn how to do PubMed search, learn how the Microsoft Word formatting is done, how the citation is done, how the reference style will be there, whether it is Vancouver or else something else. Use EndNote or Zotero. EndNote is paid software, Zotero is free. If you have this referencing manager, your life becomes easy. Learn about statistics software. Your statistician is using certain software. Check whether you can get those software and learn that software so that you learn the analysis. Why should you learn? Imagine tomorrow you are going to be an academician. You are going to be assistant professor, associate professor, maybe professor. You need to know how to use that. Otherwise, you may not be able to guide your student. If your language, especially English language, is very poor, use Grammarly. Use certain softwares which can help you to write a good sentence. Check for plagiarism. And if you want to have a good articles, use this Skyhub to searching for original articles by using Digital Object Identifier, DOI. And to know about Skyhub, go to again YouTube, learn about Skyhub so that you can get original articles from there. And don't keep your data only in the laptop. Keep backup in your cloud. Many a time, I have seen many of the students lost their laptop or their laptop crashed and their data is not updated or not kept as a backup in the cloud. Hence, do this simple technique so their headache is very minimal. How is thesis evaluated? That means you have done the thesis, you have done the binding, you have submitted. Now you should know the rules of the game, how your thesis will be evaluated. Of course, the evaluation is formal and informal. The informal is ask your peers or your friends, how does the thesis looks, how does it reads, how is the methodology, whether the structure is fine, whether the reference there is something wrong. Ask your seniors. And of course, the internal guide or the co-guide and the statistician will look into that, whether there are any mistakes. After that, then only will submit. Before submission, do the plagiarism check. Once that is done, your thesis will be sent to the external examiners. Many universities consider 2 examiners and some of them maybe 3. Once the examiners looks your thesis, they will be evaluating your thesis based upon this criteria. Whether your introduction, literature review, aims and objective is very bad, average, good, very good. Many a time it may be marking 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. On that basis, the evaluation will be done. They will read your thesis and every part of your thesis will be evaluated. Once they have done this, they will give the result of your thesis based upon whether the thesis should be accepted, accept with a minor modification, accept with major modification, or it is to be rejected. And the examiner will give his comment based upon your thesis. And he will be logically explaining why your thesis should be accepted, whether it should be modified, whether it should be rejected. By chance, if the 2 of the reviewers reject your thesis, you need to redo your thesis. Hence, my dear friends, be very, very objective. Take help from your colleagues, from the seniors, maybe other teachers, maybe a mentor. They will help you to do research. Final tips. To do thesis, you need to have a discipline and dedication. Start early. Have a PubMed login so that automatic articles which are published comes to your email. And write regularly. Thesis is written in layers, not in one go. Whenever you have an idea, check whether there is already written about that. Refer those ideas. Ask your friends to do the proofreading. Take professional help for statistics. Draw conclusion based upon your results and findings. And finally, relationship with your guide matters, because if you have a good relationship, you can become a mentor. In your life, he will guide you, not only during thesis, even to get a job. If you want to do a research in future, he will collaborate. Remember, guide is always right. Don't fight with your guide unnecessarily. That will make your life miserable and you will start hating the research. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Stay safe.